Good morning and welcome back again to another WorkSource Spokane training module. Once again, my name is Tyler Wright. I'm the Digital Skills Instructor here at WorkSource, and I'm being joined by Brandi Maynard, one of our WorkSource instructors here on the WASAT team. Brandi is partnered with the SCC, our Spokane Community Colleges, and this morning we're going to talk a little bit about a topic that I think has gotten a lot more light in recent years, but I still think a lot of folks tend to struggle with, and that is the work-life balance. Now, for those of you out there that might be listening to this, work might be an odd word for us to choose because you may be still looking for work. So rather than talking about the work-life balance, we're going to talk about the work search and life balance. Now, Brandi, what do you have in your wheelhouse when it comes to helping achieve that balance?
I'm glad you asked. And my work-life balance and finding a job, actually for me, it wasn't very long ago. It was about less than a year that I was actually looking for a job. And it was difficult. There were so many different things that I was trying to balance. And work-life balance, trying to find that balance and trying to find a job became a full-time job for me. So I was looking at job applications, searching and applying for jobs. It was so time consuming, especially when you're trying to customize your resume and your cover letter for each application. That's a full-time job in itself. Plus the fact that you're networking, and we know that networking is a number one way to get a job. And so we have to make sure that we're attending those networking events, getting those informational interviews and doing those, and then using online platforms like LinkedIn and keeping those up to date. Also that skill development. So investing in ourselves and the skills that we're trying to build so that we can be a better candidate in this job market. Preparing for interviews, researching those companies, practicing those interview questions, prepping the responses. These are all crucial steps in the job search process. And then we've got those personal responsibilities, work, home, family obligations, household chores, caring for kids, all the things that are on our shoulders as well. And then making sure that we take time for our self-care. So maintaining that physical and mental well-being. That's important during the job search. Making sure that we're taking breaks, exercising, practicing mindfulness, and spending time with loved ones to help us to prevent burnout.
I was with you all the way up until you mentioned exercising. Then you kind of lost me there. Now, maintaining that balance is a tricky kind of thing, and especially when we have obligations as adults, like, eating or doing laundry and things like that. What do you say would be the best suggestions or methods that you might have for helping maintain that balance when life throws everything at you?
Yeah, really there's three suggestions I have. The first one is to set clear goals and making sure that you set SMART goals so they're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And you want to make sure that you're setting those in a short-term form and long-term form. So where is it that you want to go in the long run, and how are you going to chunk it down and break it down into baby steps to help you get from point A to point B? And then you want to prioritize those tasks. So identify those most important tasks that are going to have the greatest impact on you. Do them first thing in the morning. We're going to talk a little bit later about eating the frog, and really that's all about making sure that you take that big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to have that really you don't want to tackle very early, and get it done early in the morning, first thing. And then allocate your time and energy to activities that move you closer to securing that employment, because that's your final goal. And then creating a schedule is number three. So using a calendar or planner to make sure that you're giving specific times for yourself for job searching and networking, skill development, the personal activities that we talked about, and then breaking down those goals into smaller tasks and allocating dedicated time slots to make sure that you're having consistent progress towards those objectives.
I like that you mentioned creating a schedule, because that's something that we talk about even in some of our job hunting workshops, where you want to create almost like a daily planner of where you're going to go, who you're going to talk to, who you're going to apply with, and actually schedule that out so that way you know that you can focus on those things when those times come.
And when you write those things down, they become a commitment that you're making with yourself.
Mm-hmm. How many times do I have to go in and set an Outlook reminder just so that way I remember to take a lunch?
Exactly.
Now, just a few minutes ago, you mentioned something that we kind of touched on in one of our other videos, and that was kind of breaking things up into chunks, almost like little Pomodoros. So how do we adopt that Pomodoro technique to this work-life balance?
Yeah, it's really staying on a schedule. And so with the Pomodoro technique, we're taking 25 minutes on where we're working on a specific goal, and then 5 minutes off where we're taking a break. And you can customize this technique to different job search tasks that you have. So for instance, if you are networking, 25 minutes on with that networking, 5 minutes off. Maybe you're going to move to the next section, which is spending some time on LinkedIn, where you're going to spend 25 minutes and 5 minutes off. So making sure that you're doing that. But there's a couple other ideas I have as well. So you can gamify your job search, and it's making it fun for yourself. So turning it into a game by setting specific goals and challenges for yourself. And when you reach those goals and challenges, you can earn points and get a prize. Turn certain milestones into rewards. So for example, you might have a certain number of points that will entice you to a movie night, or treating yourself to your favorite coffee, or even a massage. So gamify those job search techniques and strategies, and that'll give you a little bit of fun and motivation to make it easier to stay on track. And then third, create a job search vision board. And on this vision board, you're creating the kind of job that you want for yourself. You're putting all of the things on there that are visual representations of your career goals, your aspirations, and the steps needed to achieve them. You can do this with Canva. You can do it with a magazine by cutting different things out. Get creative. Use quotes, symbols, images, anything that you can think of that represents that ideal job for you and that work-life balance that you want for yourself, because we want to make sure that we're balancing work and life at the same time. And then display your vision board in a prominent place in your house so that you see it. I know that there was a professor that I had one time, and her goal was to graduate in May of 2020, and she wrote in lipstick on her bathroom mirror, and she saw it every morning so she could get from point A to point B. So as you go through your job search journey, update that vision board with new achievements, insights, and opportunities as they come, and then give yourself that tangible representation of your aspirations that will help you stay focused, motivated, and on track with your schedule.
It's funny that you mentioned the gamify portion of things, because I've heard of vision boards before, and that's not an unusual technique. I've seen vision boards in a lot of different scenarios, but the idea of being able to gamify your job search, I think that is a incredibly useful tool there. And I take heart to that because I do a lot of instructional design. So gamification is one of the things that we do when we design different modules and things like that. But gamifying your job search, now that's a pretty cool technique. I just submitted 5 resumes. Now I'm going to go grab myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
I just finished looking at these 3 job descriptions and identifying keywords. Now I'm going to go have lunch, or whatever that might look like. Fantastic. Now this next topic is something that can be a little bit different for every individual, and I would say it actually is different for each individual. Each individual is going to have a unique perspective on this, but that is building a support system. Now, WorkSource, in my opinion, is a support system.
Absolutely.
What do you think, in your experience, in your idea, as a job seeker, you want as a support system to help maintain that work-life balance?
Yeah, as humans, we crave that connection with other people. That's really important for us. And so seeking out support from loved ones, leaning on those loved ones, family and friends, for that emotional support and encouragement. This is a long, arduous process. So making sure that you have people in your corner who you can call, you can share your goals and challenges with, and even those achievements, so that they can celebrate with you. And then knowing that you don't have to struggle by yourself. You can ask for help whenever it's needed. And when you have that strong network, you can provide a sense of reassurance and motivation during the ups and downs of the job search journey. Coming into WorkSource Spokane, talking with a job coach and having them share with you some different ideas, things that maybe you didn't think about before, is an additional support system that will really help you along this journey.
Another one that I would throw in there is also our job club. We offer a job club here, I want to say every Friday.
Fridays, yes.
And that is specifically just a group of job seekers that get together to talk about looking for jobs. That in and of itself is a support system.
Absolutely, and they really like each other.
Now, as we are creating this balance, there is just in the definition of that word itself, a balance. We do want to take time for the self-care, but we also do want to take time to actually get stuff done. Now, Brandi, what do you suggest is the best way that we start going about that?
I think focusing on your goals, but also simplifying. So making sure that you're not trying to make things too difficult for yourself. You're simplifying, getting from point A to point B in the simplest way that you can. One way that I did it when I was job searching is I did time blocking. So I put in my calendar just those things I needed to get done, and then I put different times that I needed to do those things each day and each week, so then I could focus solely on those goals. And those dedicated time blocks help me to eliminate those distractions that we all have, help me to set those clear objectives and then work toward achieving the milestones related to my goals. So this ensured consistency for me. It helped me to move and progress in the right direction, and it really helped to do this all without having to sacrifice other aspects of my life.
Now, when you're doing these time blocks for different activities, couldn't you also take those time blocks and further break them up into Pomodoros?
Oh, you sure could. Yes, that's a great suggestion.
Now, as I am working through my own career in my own work-life balance, as I'm assisting job seekers here at WorkSource with their job-seeking journey, one of the things that we run into is having to be able to do things at the same time. There's a lot of times where I have to work on this email, but I also have to do this other thing or whatever that might be. What do you suggest for those that have so much to do that they have to multitask?
Yeah, multitasking is actually really mismanaged moments of madness. I'm going to say it again. Multitasking is mismanaged moments of madness. It will create just a madness and chaos if you're in your brain if you try to multitask. If you really want to be productive, you'll do things one at a time. You'll break them into time blocks so you can work on them. Maybe you'll have to delegate some of those tasks, maybe some administrative tasks, household chores, errands, things that other family members and friends can do, or maybe you'll have to get professional services to come in and help to mow your lawn so that you can make sure that you're focused on those most important tasks in your life, which at this time in your life is to get a job.
Now, setting up a plan and a goal and a schedule and getting our support systems on place, those are all fine and good. But as you and I both know, every human out there has a different personality, a different type. I myself, as much as it seems odd, I am not a people person, and I do have to kind of set boundaries with people, because if I don't, I get so many different requests or questions or different things throughout the day that I can't maintain that balance. What do you suggest for your job seekers out there that find that things are so overwhelming? Is it okay for them to set boundaries?
Always okay to set boundaries, and know that it's okay to set those boundaries. When you establish those clear boundaries with others, they know how to treat you and you know how to treat them, and they know how to experience the environment with you. And so making sure that you have clear boundaries between your job search activities and your personal life so that you really have room to breathe and be who you are. Make sure that you can set specific times for those job related tasks such as networking, online applications, and then making sure that you also designate that time for relaxation, hobbies, and times with your loved ones. Oftentimes those are the rubber balls that bounce, we like to say. They're not the glass balls that are going to come crashing down, but they don't bounce forever. So making sure that in order to prevent that burnout and have a healthy balance between work and personal life, you're setting those boundaries with others.
As we get wrapped up with this session this morning, the final topic that I wanted to ask about is that one that you mentioned at the very end earlier, and that is self-care. Now, this is something that I've seen get a lot more spotlight over the last several years. Me coming from a military background, self-care was not something that was generally encouraged. Anybody that is a prior service out there, you might know what I'm talking about. You don't go to sick call because you don't go to sick call. That's just the thing. So when we talk about self-care, especially in this realm of job seeking, what does that look like?
Well, it really has to be a non-negotiable part of your routine, Tyler. You have to make sure that you incorporate activities that promote both physical and mental well-being. You and I are both not exercisers, but if you are an exerciser, even getting out for a simple walk or meditating, making sure that you have time for your hobbies, spending time outdoors, all of those things are really important. Anytime that you can spend out time outside and are moving about, that is a great win for you with that self-care. And for a lot of people, doing it in a social situation is great too. So finding a walking buddy to go outside and make sure that you're practicing that self-care, because that's going to give you the energy and resilience to continue on with the challenges that you might face as you go through your job search. And you will face challenges, but you can get through those with good, proper self-care.
Well, that just about wraps up this session about the work-life balance, specifically in the realm of job seeking. So we kind of redefine that as the work search life balance. I want to thank you, Brandi, for joining me and answering my questions here this morning. Folks, if you're out there listening, thanks so much for tuning in and listening to us. If you have any other questions, especially about this topic of work-life balance, Brandi's email address is right here on the screen. I encourage you, shoot her an email, ask her some questions. She's always around to help, and we'll see you in the next video.